So Ethereum, potentially a short squeeze on the table. This daily candle already 20% on the daily candle, testing the 50-day moving average for Ethereum, exactly like we predicted here on the channel yesterday, that we're going to come to test the 2018 previous all-time high at 1440. Is this just a short squeeze, or is this a real relief rally that could potentially translate into something more? Well, let's look at what's happening to Bitcoin. We didn't get a strong enough relief rally here for Bitcoin to get to the 50-day moving average. All it took was Bitcoin moving above the weekly open for Ethereum to pump up to its 50-day moving average, with over $150 million of short positions liquidated on that move. We could certainly say that this was potentially just to clear out short positions, because the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart did hit a resistance level at 65,000 Satoshis, indicating that this was probably the destination that it was looking for. All it took was Bitcoin moving above that weekly open for this to occur. And now Bitcoin potentially ready to come back below this weekly open, sitting right around 20,800, because of course the S&P 500 closed the week below its weekly open. So there's no reason for Bitcoin to stay too far and above its weekly open this week, unless we're seeing a reversal in trend. But we're also seeing a rejection so far of the 50-month moving average. As you can see here, sitting right around 21,600. We're rejecting that 50-month moving average. And on the weekly candle, Bitcoin is still free falling from the 200-week moving average. All week we have not tested the 200-week moving average for this weekly candle that closes in less than 24 hours. Now, before we get into the bearish case, a lot of people are talking about the 3-day MACD crossover. So we do have this confirmed bullish crossover on the MACD here, and this was with our 3-day candle closing previous to the one that's currently in progression. And so let's look at the past when we've seen these 3-day confirmations, these bullish MACD crossovers. February 6th of 2022, we had a 3-day MACD crossover, and we only got about 2 3-day candles to the upside before we lost all of those gains. But that was the short-term bottom for several months. This was when Bitcoin was trending from around that 38,000 to $45,000 level. And so that was one 3-day MACD bullish crossover. So could that say that maybe we've found a short-term bottom here at 17,600? Bitcoin potentially can come to 24,000. And for the bearish case, it rolls over into the end of the year. Or for the bullish case, we hold above 24,000. We can see a breakout. That was the bottom. Who knows? But there is a 3D or a 3D. Yeah, I mean, it is a 3D bullish MACD crossover, right? A 3-day bullish MACD crossover. Look for the next one. So the next one that was prior to the one from February 6th was here on October 7th. That was actually a very important one, because that predicted the higher high that formed for Bitcoin to 69,000. So that was a very strong confirmation of a upside move that topped out Bitcoin. So that was a very nice 3-day bullish crossover. The one previous to that was on the 18th of July. So that was actually one of the bottoms for Bitcoins. So that we had one here, one here. So both times we resulted in a nice pump. We had the one here that it had a nice pump for a few months before we fell over. And so now we have one right here where price action is currently sitting below 24,000. This is after Celsius announced a Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and 3 Arrows Capital, Voyager, they're all out of the way. So could we put the fundamental case on the table that maybe the selling pressure in the immediate short term has subsided? Well, the previous one to this 3-day bullish crossover was here when Bitcoin was starting to break into new all-time highs. So every time we've seen a 3-day bullish MACD crossover, and then before that we have to go into this 2019-2020 consolidation, and then you'll see this was the one previous to that. So I guess this 3-day MACD bullish crossover has been very significant to show upside moves in the past. Does that mean that maybe we'll see some short-term upside here for Bitcoin? I think that's very plausible. I think that now that we've got Ethereum testing its 50-day moving average, Bitcoin has the chance to do the same thing. This could be an indicator that fools a lot of traders. I mean, if we've learned something from the recent downside that Bitcoin has had below the 200-week moving averages, all of the rules are getting broken, right? And so maybe this is that one odd case where just because we have a 3-day bullish MACD crossover, that it doesn't really signify that we're going to be seeing a strong reversal. I think that Bitcoin is getting all of the chances right now to see a push to the upside. And so, the major support levels that we'll have to monitor starts at the weekly open here at 20,800 and then goes down to the 2018 previous all-time high. I think that we just have to continue to keep these support levels in mind, and until we can get a confirmation of price action above 24,000, we cannot say this is the bottom just yet, right? And so that 3-day bullish MACD crossover, I think, puts this scenario very likely on the table to at least see some sort of relief here. So Josh, I would love for you to talk about the immediate short term, since we saw this, short squeeze for Ethereum. Ethereum looks like it's found its final destination. It got the test of the 2018 previous all-time high. Remember, we talked about that yesterday, Josh, that this support never got tested as resistance. So it's already done. So we got the move.
It's breaking rules, right? Is that what you're trying to say? Like, you're talking about how an all-time high never gets retested, correct?
Yeah, exactly. So
if we can break that rule, then we can break the MACD rule, right?
Yeah, and
MACD. We shouldn't be using indicators. Well, we shouldn't be using indicators in general to base our trading off of, right? And that's what I learned from you.
I agree 100%. MACD crossover, man, it's just an indicator. Indicators I only use as confirmation. So I think what we're seeing right now, honestly, isn't the most bullish price action. The fact that Ethereum was able to come to 1440, get this massive 20% daily candle pumped to this extremely important level, and then immediately got rejected here. Look at the 15-minute volume. Somebody had their sell orders ready for Ethereum to come up here. Probably somebody that entered in unknowingly that it was going to come further down. You could see we immediately faced sell pressure. So, I think that we reached a destination with this pump. And so, all it took was Bitcoin getting above its weekly open to make that happen. And so the shorts have already been cleared. The exchanges got their money, $175 million in short positions liquidated with that move. So, do you want to share your screen and talk about what's going on with the spider lines? Have we tested any spider lines yet?
Yeah, for sure. Just give me 1 sec, because I'm about to maybe sell a little bit more in my position. I'm like kind of trading right now as we talk, but yeah, let me go ahead and just do that. So what I am going to do though is I'm going to take another 25% profit off it. So I'm going to market sell 25% just because we crossed the volume weighted average price, and I'll explain why we did that in a second. It's always better to take profit. Okay, let's talk about a few things, guys. By the way, how's everyone doing? Drop us a comment below if you appreciate this content. All right. Let's see. So what I'm going to do is share my screen. I just had to get everything. And what we're looking at is for the bit price, right? That's what we're looking at right now. We're looking at the Bitcoin price, and specifically hike in the sheep candles. Now, I am, as much as I am a Bitcoin macro bull, I am in a short position right now. And the reason why is because I watch the chart like a lunatic, and I just know when the right move is coming, and I react to the market instead of predict the market, which is a big difference. So the thing is right now is, I'm kind of zoomed in here right now on the 7 minute, only because this is like the lowest time frame I go into. I mean, I don't really like using the 1 minute too much because there's no reason to, to water yourself down that much. But if we look at where we're at, the volume weighted average price. Okay, so my entry was like literally here. I'll even draw a line and show you guys where my entry is. I might sell even more in my position actually, because we're testing the volume weighted average price as support now instead of resistance. So that means I'm going to sell another 25%. I'm just going to do it on my phone real quick. What's the old rule of trading, Naeem? Again?
Well, I guess there's only 5
No one ever
outcomes.
went broke taking profits, right? That's the old saying. But anyway, so here's the thing, guys. My entry was like right here. Or I guess you could say is right here because I haven't fully closed the trade out yet. But it's not the best entry. I didn't call the top. I didn't call the second top here, I didn't do that. I literally, right here, because whenever I saw, let me just make this more clear. Whenever I saw, we'll even make it green, with the color green for money, right? If we were making lower lows right here, I immediately just ordered in, 8x leverage. Sold most of my position here below the VWAP. We ended up testing that support. I sold a little bit more. Now my stop loss is at break even. So if it comes up and hits my stop loss right here, I've already taken profit. If not, then we've got some downside ahead of us, And so speaking of spider lines, let's take a look. We're right here in between, on the, if we were to look at it on the daily zoomed out like this. This is what we're looking at right here. So, if this is the local top, and that's the thing, even if it's not the top right here, it doesn't matter. I'm still able to make money. And yeah, it just made sense to me because it was starting to run out of steam. It's starting to run out of steam. Naeem and I were both watching. We were both in the short. Actually, I think he might have been shorting an altcoin because he doesn't really short Bitcoin. But yeah, so look at this 8-hour candle. Ugh, that's disgusting.
That's not.
Look at that wick. Look at that wick. I guarantee. Talk about $175 million worth of liquidations on what was that, short positions?
Yep. On Ethereum.
That's what one 8-hour candle can do to you. It looks like it's just flipping you off, doesn't it? Like a big middle finger. So screw you. But that's what we did is we waited till after all the liquidations and then we got it. And this is the 8-hour. Sorry, go ahead.
That's a rule, man. You wait until it's quiet, right? When the coast is clear.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't going to just keep pumping, If it was just going to keep pumping, then I'm better off waiting right here. In these spider lines, everyone draws them differently. I get asked about them all the time. They're just trend lines. And really, they're just long-term confluence trend lines. And it just has to come within that force field. It doesn't have to be perfect and hit it perfectly every time. I mean, look down here. It didn't hit it here. It didn't hit it down here. So, but it does respect the lines, though. If you go to even the weekly, the price inarguably respects these varying lines. For the Bitcoin price. So anyway, guys, that's all I wanted to share. I am in a live trade right now. What are we doing? Are we pumping? I might take some more profit. That's the thing, I'm like, the time that I'm in a trade, it varies. Sorry, we're in the middle of no man's land.
No, I want to actually, I'll jump in here, looking at other pieces to the puzzle, with this pump that we saw. I wonder when that 8-hour candle closes. That was a very interesting candle, Josh. I think it closes here in 3 hours. So, damn, that that's obviously not the type of 8-hour candle that you want to see. But we still have some time for this one to mature. So, it looks very similar to this relief rally that cleared out a lot of shorts as well. And so,
Yeah.
there's
I just exited my entire position because like we just started pumping out of nowhere. Like that's how important, not to interrupt you, but that's how important the volume weighted average price is. If you test that thing as support, you can almost bet you're gonna go up. Please continue.
Yeah, for the immediate short term, I'm trying to build a case that this is it for Bitcoin. Because I think that we could start building that case just with the fact that Ethereum came to test 1440 already. That's what we were waiting for. We were waiting for a test of 1440. Do we expect Ethereum to get above its 2018 previous all-time high after spending so much time here down below it? I don't think so. I think that more than anything, this would lead to further downside just because it wants to stay inside of this consolidation most likely. Until we get confirmation from the other revolving parts, and so if you do take this local high here, I'm not trying to draw imaginary lines, but it looks like Bitcoin could have found a local top there. Something that I think is important right now is the fact that we have this weekly candle closing in less than 24 hours or just over 24 hours. We're still fully below the 200-week moving average. So if Bitcoin can get to 22,700, that's a very big deal because it recaptures that 200-week moving average. But anything below that, we're still free falling away from that 200-week moving average. Bitcoin CME. Oh, wow. I didn't sign into my Zoom, I think. I got to sign into my Zoom. So Bitcoin CME filled its gap at 21,000, so that's already out of the way. And so I think we're seeing a lot of potential final destinations in play here. The Ethereum to Bitcoin chart hit a very big resistance at 65,000 Satoshis, and so far as this daily candle matures, it looks like it found a final destination here with this test of 65,000 Satoshis, just because that's a very important level. And the fact that we came to test that already, and that already allowed the Ethereum to US dollar price to test the 2018 previous all-time high, that's it. That's what the rule book says, right? A previous support turns into future resistance, and now we got the test, and so we can mark that off the checklist, right, for Ethereum, I think, with this relief rally. And outside of that, Bitcoin against the S&P 500, we're not getting much answers there. Still very strong consolidation. So let's see what happens, man. I mean, I think that we're getting this pump. The Dow Jones closed up 600 points for Friday. So if we're just like sitting in front of, television looking at what the headlines say and not actually understanding what's happening in the markets, then we would be coming into Friday with this new moon and with the 600 points up for Friday with a positive mindset of the markets, right? So I think that it was a good time to see Ethereum, at one point today it was up like over 15%, I think. So it was good to see that relief rally, and it was a good weekend to do it, with the Dow Jones closing up 600 points. But it still doesn't mean we're out of the woods. If we've learned anything over the last 7 months, it's that every time we've seen these relief rallies, it's led to some further downside, and we've seen many rejections. And so, I think that what we're seeing with Ethereum was totally predicted. I mean, we predicted it, I think, more accurately than any channel yesterday, that Ethereum was going to pump. And so now that happened, it's almost like, okay, well, that's what we were predicting. It happened already. That was the move, So we can't really expect much more during this week. And I think that it's still likely Bitcoin trends between the weekly open and monthly open throughout the rest of this week. I mean, and El Beto says, what does 4D mean? It means 4 dimensions. And so we're looking at the market from 4-dimensional angles, right? We're looking at Bitcoin against the S&P 500. We're looking at commodities. We're looking at equities. We're looking at Forex pairings. We're looking at other cryptocurrencies, right? So, we're the only channel that covers the market in that many dimensions. And so that's what 4D means. Anyways, smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm if you support this content. Josh and I are going to be out of here. Thank you, Josh, for sharing your thoughts for this Saturday live stream. We appreciate each and every one of you tuned into the channel. We'll continue to monitor the price action. I'll get an emergency video out. If I see Bitcoin, let's say we see continued upside with this move, and we start to break some of like the spider lines on Josh's chart right around 22,000, I'm going to get an emergency video out, because at that point, what we're looking for is a break above the 50-day moving average, and that could be it right there, right? We could get above that 50-day moving average, and now we're really talking about a potential local bottom. We're talking about that 3-day MACD crossover coming into play. But, you know, if we just stay here around the weekly open below 22,000, you know, if we get back below the weekly open at 20,800 and we're just chilling around here, you know, there's no need for an emergency update. But let's say we break 20,000, where we have the monthly open, previous weekly open, 2018 previous all-time high. These are major levels. You know, by the time I can get a video out, we may see a lot further downside by that point. So that's a major support there. We don't want to get below the monthly open. We don't want to get below 20,000 this weekend, or else things could really start to shift here, and we can start to see some volatility. But I'm not expecting that. Once again, as I talked about yesterday, I think the most likely scenario is we trend between the weekly and monthly open. Man, isn't this so oddly? I don't know if you can see the screen, Josh, but based on the Bollinger Bands, man, look at that. You know, very similar to this trend from 30,000, where we tested the resistance, rejection.
Oh, wow.
You know, isn't that crazy? So testing.
What you're saying is I should my short though. I'm just kidding.
They cleared the short positions out already, so I don't know.
Honestly, well, here's the thing. I was just thinking about re-entering my short, honestly, because we're right at that inflection point where, and it's inflection points that we are rewarded.
This is certainly an inflection point.
I don't know, but there's something in me telling me not to do it, because we could pump up to 22,000. So that's, sometimes it's better just to, like for me, it was just an obvious move because we were making lower lows, and I knew I could get in and out really quick and make money with leverage, but not high leverage, but just some leverage. So anyway, that was my mindset there. But honestly, I'm probably going to wait till like 22,000 if I'm going to open up a short and like hold it for a little bit. 22, maybe 24,000, somewhere within that range. That's what I'm looking for.
I think it's a smart idea, because everything that we're seeing right now is with light volume. Ethereum already got the test of the previous all-time high. Ethereum Bitcoin hit major resistance. You know, I mean, I feel like that was the weekend move. Yeah. So I don't think there's anything more on the table.
I will say I'm surprised, man. This is the first weekend I think I ever remember Bitcoin didn't just completely dump, even though we are making lower highs right now. But yeah, pretty amazing.
I think a big part of that is the way that equities closed. You know, it was strong,
yeah,
600 points.
That's 600 points, right? What you said.
Yeah, but because they cleared the shorts out already, that typically means a dump is coming soon. So that's what just makes me a little bit weary. And then we got the 3-day MACD crossover, you know, and that's never been wrong. But, you know, we've seen that in the past here, where it really just let a relief rally come into play, and it kept a temporary bottom in play for, you know, some time until it failed eventually. So who knows? But anyways, New Mac El Bato, everyone on the live stream, thank you guys for tuning in today. Josh and I are going to go enjoy our Saturday evenings, and we'll get another video out. Remember to subscribe to Josh's YouTube channel. His link is in the description below. His video with Mike Tyson is going viral right now. It's on his channel, so make sure you check that out. And that's it for today. Anything to close, Josh?
Yeah, I was going to say there is one more thing I wanted to share. But the DXY, what time does that close, basically? Let me just share my screen real quick.
It's gonna open up
That's
futures tomorrow, so like 6, 7 Eastern Standard Time.
gotcha. I think I still got some time. But anyway, so my question is, yeah, like, so we talked about how if the DXY falls to say the weekly open, that would put Bitcoin at around roughly 22 to 23,000 US dollars,
Right.
maybe even higher, right? And it wouldn't be ridiculous for it to retest the weekly open and then continue higher. I don't think so. I mean, or at least close to it in the force field of it.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
what I wanted to say.
We'll continue to monitor that DXY. It gave the equity markets the best chance to close Friday, and that gave the crypto markets the best chance for an overall pump on the weekend, and then it looks like Ethereum made its move. So yeah, we'll monitor the DXY. I think that's important, man. I think what we
So it just
want.
looked like it bottomed out, like a triple bottom. It looked like to me, you know? But I think it's just because it's froze.
Yeah, it's frozen right now. It opens up for futures markets, so we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, thank you, Naeem. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
You're
Josh.
right. No one covers technical analysis like you, man. You cover the 5-dimensional parts, you know. And thank you to everyone watching this content. If you enjoy this content, please share it and smash the like button. And anything else you wanted to say, Naeem?
Nope, that's it. Well, there you go. I guess the Zoom meeting also ended. I got to sign into my Zoom. I forgot to sign in today, but exactly like we predicted, snipers. We got the test of the 1440, and so let's see what happens. Until next time, Sharif says, I hope you're great, my man. Thank you, brother. I am currently icing my ankle from an ankle sprain, so I'm dealing with that, but no, my webcam is not even on. So I will see you all next time. Thank you all for tuning in. Until